Oh, hello, Scorpio. What do you know? How are you doing? Thanks for stopping in and checking out this, your May general reading for Scorpio and people under the influence of a Scorpio. How have you all been? I wanted to thank you quickly for all of the huge support at the end of April with all of the views and comments on the mid-April readings. You guys really enjoyed those ones, and I'm really happy you stopped in and checked them out. That mean the world to me to see all the comments coming in. I'll do my best to respond to as many of them as I can for as long as I can. Know that I read them all, and hopefully I can give a response out to all of you. Oh, we got Flipper. So, Scorpio, you got a decision coming up to make here in the month of May? Or are you just kind of wondering who's on your side and who isn't? That could be a big one here for Two of Swords as well. Flippers and poppers, my subscribers know we just look at them briefly and pop them back into the deck, okay? We're just get a little few extra shuffles for you here. And again, want to thank you for all your views and for joining me here in this moment in space and time. We're going to be using the 7-card spread to look at all of the energy centers in our chakras and the major life areas. We're asking Tarot for healing energies, to reveal any stuck energies, and to reveal any hidden messages for Scorpio and people under the influence of Scorpio for May 2017. That's Scorpio, May 2017. I hope you're all in a place of comfort, abundance, joy, and prosperity as we get into this reading. That's my intention for the reading for you. Please set your intention and attention to this reading as we deal out the cards. And yeah, we're going to get right into it for Scorpio. The Scorpion. Oh, Page of Swords up at the bottom of the deck here. All right, so the feeling is you might have some people around you that are up to no good. Let me just adjust this camera here. People around you that might be unintentionally up to no good. The Page of Swords, when we look at this as an external person, is somebody that's actively involved in the rumor mill. Actively involved, like maybe being obsessed with you a little bit for all the wrong reasons. They might be jealous of you. They might be trying to be more like you, but putting you down all at the same time. The Page of Swords is someone you do not want to confide in. This is someone that you do not want to tell your secrets to, or allow them to get to know you very well. And Scorpio, that's an easy thing for you. If you're a tough sign to get to know, regardless. But just be very wary of Geminis and Aquariuses as we move into the month of May. Picking your brains, asking you too many questions about this, that, or the other thing. And you may think that it's just because they have a desire to know, but maybe it's just to go blather on to somebody else about how you feel about a particular thing, or, lay a judgment in about you. Page of Swords isn't always bad. It's just a lot of times really centering around immature energy that comes out in forms of like ill communication and just like sort of prejudgments and things of that nature, okay? Appearance is more than substance sort of thing with Page of Swords, all right? So we'll reveal back to Page of Swords. With that Two of Swords that popped out, I did have that feeling of wondering is like who's on your side and who's not, and I just want to make sure that you guys are really kind of being protected this May against both spiritual and like sort of underhanded things maybe going on the earthly plane as well. Just be very wary of that sort of energy. Okay, let's see what's up in the grounding chakra. Hey, I said the word judgment, and here it comes up in reverse sense in the root chakra area. So again, if you guys are feeling a little bit under the weather, a little bit like delayed, lacking a little bit of energy from time to time, don't be too hard on yourself. Judgment card reversed is saying make sure to take the time you need. Make sure to take the rest that you need. Make sure that you aren't extending yourself too far, too forward as well. This situation could be is that if situations around you are seeming somewhat stagnant, there's no need to force anyone's hand in this situation. There's no need to push through if it isn't being called for. Sometimes other people will just come to a stop, to a standstill to see what the heck you're going to do, because they intuitively, whether they're conscious of it or not, sense the sort of power that's around you, your abilities and they're going to see if you're going to push forward on, because okay, well, let's make you make the first mistake, and then everyone can either point the finger and then or move forward in a place of more confidence or safety because you've taken the best foot forward. But maybe you're not going to be the one that's going to be doing that. You're going to be like, you know what, if everyone else is too darn shook to take action, I'm just going to wait around too, that kind of thing. So look out for that as well. And as well, Judgment card reverse can be really some gnarly, underhanded energy as well. These could be people that are in your environment that are up to no good. They might be, up to situations where it's like they're intentionally wanting to set you up to do a bad job, maybe because they're looking at wanting to get a hand up or a foothold up on you for some reason or another. Or they may just kind of take something that you take out of context and then go and revert it back to, some situation where it's like they just feel like you are just such a powerful sign that sometimes there's no getting around a Scorpio, rather than turning to some certain underhanded techniques. So if that is resonating, or if that is your situation around you, the message here is to just make sure that you're keeping your cards close to your chest. And I know it's going to be a tough thing because spring is a kind of out and about. We're all feeling like communicating, being more social, that sort of thing. But for Scorpio, just make sure that you're really being very discerning in any information that you're giving out through your everyday life kind of thing. Okay. Now, these cards don't want to come off the table. Let's see what we have up. And we've got the star card reversed up in the sacral area. So this is our creative centers. This is our centers of passion, of sex, of those kinds of things, creative problem solving. And the star reverse is maybe suggesting that Scorpio, you guys may have let go or have forgotten, not paying enough attention to your long-term goals. You guys maybe are just going through the emotions of the day thinking, if I could just get to the weekend, or if I could just get to the next paycheck, then everything will be all right. Well, in that 14 days or in that proverbial fortnight, you've spent all of your resources, or you haven't taken any like grander steps towards any particular goals. So again, my understanding here is avoid procrastination if you can. If you've got situations that you've been putting off for far too long, let's maybe even get the day planners out. Let's start budgeting some time to take care of things that you need to take care of. It's not like super important stuff, but these are like the smaller things that need to be in place for your longer term goals to be achieved. And if we're procrastinating on the little steps, then the longer term goal becomes even longer, where it's like then you start questioning, are we ever going to get that done? Is that ever going to happen? So we got a couple major areas up in the lower chakras here. So day-to-day living is kind of sources saying, let's take an extra hard, long look at it and say, are we making the most of our time from the time that we're awake and, till the time we go to bed, so that, we're not living life all in vain kind of thing, so that you guys are actually working towards something. All right. What's it all about? Right. Those kind of grander questions. Oh, these cards, this table and these cards. All right, look at this dark blue energy. This is like third eye stuff, like these colors and like crown chakra type stuff coming through in the lower chakras here. So yes, this is definitely taking physical steps to achieve destiny is what we've got here so far, Scorpio. So we've got to envision it. And when comes this Wheel of Fortune up in a gut instinct, this is the sign to tell me to remind you guys that you guys truly are kind of masters of your own destiny. The things that you do, the things that you say, the acts that you take, and the decisions that you decide, all in part add to the fire or the furnace that spins this Wheel of Fortune, that gets you to the grander destiny. You are the ones that are large and in charge of this kind of stuff, even though they say major arcana energy is beyond your control, yada, yada, yada. I'm here to tell you that nothing is ever truly beyond your control. Unless you've really hurt somebody and they've taken it to the core of law, nothing really here is that could affect you too greatly is beyond your control. It's all about perception, acceptance, letting go, understanding these concepts that we have that we typically don't like to face sometimes because they do require a lot of energy, and energy gets depleted because you do the 9 to 5 things that, takes away 95% of your energy anyways, right? So we got to make time for these things. We got to take this power of destiny, this Wheel of Fortune power back into our own hands, because it is here in our wheel, and well, chakras are like wheels. It is here in our chakra center of solar plexus, which is our will, not our wheel power. We'll call it our real will power, right? That's what's going on in Wheel of Fortune. So let's take control of our destiny by not procrastinating on the little things that are leading to our higher goals, and by keeping our cards close to our checks so that nobody's taking away more energy than what we have to afford to spend on anything other than bringing about the things that we would like to create in our lives. Okay? Now, quick disclaimer. When I say we, when I say I, when I say you, when I say them, when I say there, know that I am them, I am you, I am we, I am I. Like, the pronouns, don't put a lot into the nomenclature, because it's like I'm reading on an intuitive and on an empathic level, so sometimes the pronouns get a little bit all mixed up. Are you kidding me? Look at these cards. Now you got 14 major. You went 20 major, you went 17 major, 10 major, back to 16 major. And they're all these like dark blue energies, third eye energies. Whatever you guys are doing to envision or maybe tap into your psychic abilities, your intuition, your intuitive nature, these are the colors of like your pineal gland, your third eye chakra, shining through all the way now from root to heart. And what this message is that you guys have some awesomely aligned chakras. No matter what you've been through, what you've been dealing with, you guys have been able to pull yourselves through some very interesting and tricky emotional times to bring yourself ultimately back to a point of true balance, of true alignment, of true harmony. When temperance is up, straight up like this in the heart of hearts, it means that your heart has taken control of your being and put it on the proper timeline as to where you're supposed to be going. So when I'm saying take your destiny into your own hands and get control of this Wheel of Fortune energy, some of you might not even need to do that now, because we see temperance up here. It's like fate and destiny might already just be predestining you, pre-aligning you for something else, because you have already done your part in the co-creating part of it, and now the source and universe is just about to start to reciprocate for you. So take note of this in your daily lives, in your ambitions, in your relationships, and in whatever you're dealing with. Be receptive in terms of your feeling and your seeing, because you may see that the universe is about to start putting things in alignment and making your steps a little bit easier for you, provided you're not into this procrastination energy. If I would have seen this up like this, I would have freaked right out. I would turn the camera off and throw all the tarot cards in the trash bin and ran around the block naked 3.5 times. Okay. But anyways, I'll stop freaking out for a minute for you guys, because the temperance up in the heart of heart cards, I just like golf clap for everyone. Good job, Scorpio. You guys are aligned. You guys are feeling fine. Whatever it is that you've been dealing with, you're coming to a place of rest, stillness, harmony in your heart, contentment in your heart. So I'm very pleased to see this card here, and I want to say keep going. Don't push the envelope, like we were saying here. If the situation around you calls for stillness, be still. If something is calling you even to jump to action, maybe you now can mirror this Page of Swords and be like, let's see if anybody else is willing to step into their own power while we watch, evaluate, and be a part of the painting rather than the painter itself, sort of thing. Okay, kind of. Metoteric. That's my new word I just invented. If it's metoteric, it means it's meditative, metaphorical, and esoteric all in one. It's metoteric, all right? That's what's up with temperance. You guys have the ability, you have the power to create a new language, to create a new civilization, whatever it is. Sorry, I'm on a tangent. We'll get off the tangent here, Scorpio. And see, up in communications, we have 10 of Cups upside down or in the reverse. So communicatively wise, this could be situations where Scorpios that are in family type settings, you may be experiencing some blocks in being able to communicate with certain family members that you at once were in greater alignment or within greater harmony with. All right. 10 of Cups energy reverse is saying that ideas are changing surrounding what family means to you at this time, or maybe the dynamics of the family have changed. Perhaps you have a sibling that has married and now, or you have new nieces and nephews, or perhaps you have a new aunt or an uncle, or perhaps somebody in this situation has recently passed and now you're finding that you've connected with them on a nostalgic or a more spiritual level. Just something in the dynamic of the communication of the family has changed. Somebody may be a little bit more despondent as of late. Somebody may have come a lot closer than you were actually ready to deal with at present time. Kids might have moved back in. Kids might have like suddenly decided they're going to move out with their, Johnny boyfriend or Susie girlfriend. And that's okay. You're just like either letting go or having to accept more kind of thing. With 10 of Cups up in communication. But be true to yourself. Be true to your family members. Be honest with family. Sometimes is the hardest people to be honest with. It's almost like mothers tell little white lies to their kids to keep them safe, to keep them innocent. And then, like 10 or 12 years of innocent little white lies leave the kid disillusionment when they turn 15. And then all of a sudden they're getting picked on by their friends. And they're like, well, why do you still believe in Santa Claus, you ding ding? Right? That kind of thing. Like, we have sometimes family are the easiest people to get away with those little white lies to. And this card is saying, like, we're going to have to kind of be mindful of that. Make sure communication is on point so any domestic things don't go further awry. 10 of Cups reverse is not bad energy. It just means, like, we kind of have to watch. We have to keep tabs on things, okay? All right. Up in pineal gland, where we saw all these cards going on, now we have something a little bit more grounding us, bringing back down into the green aura, into the heart chakra colors, right, of these greens. So this is good balance. We have blue in the lower chakras bringing us up to heart. Now we have green in the upper chakras bringing us back down to heart. So that's really good. 7 of Wands reversed here. Yes, you guys are going to have to be careful to stay on your game. Going to have to watch somebody that's wanting to get an edge up on you. And this could be Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, okay? It's going to be a tough time, I feel, to be in harmony with air sign, okay? But at the same time, when we have this up in pineal gland, this is kind of saying, all right, if something's got you off your game, if you're kind of wondering, like, your body is ready to be in tune spiritually and in almost like 5D type energy, but the third eye chakra area itself is being like, I feel powerless. I'm feeling spiritually limited. I'm feeling spiritually blocked. I'm feeling like my visions are not as clear as they used to be, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your future, or whether it's just for your greater understanding of your ascension awakening process. And this is good because, in a way, to see this in this area is saying, like, I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering to whatever it is that's going on around me spiritually. And that can be okay energy. That can be a good thing to do sometimes, to soften yourself spiritually, especially for the feminine. And for anyone here that has kind of in a situation where it's like, you know where you're going, but perhaps you've been sidetracked and now you're looking to get back on track kind of thing. 7 of Wands is saying we'll have to open up our spiritual understanding of where we want to be in order to maybe get back on track, okay? I'm just going to ask for a quick clarifier. Why 7 of Wands? I normally, like, third eye cards, when cards show up in that soul questing place, it's usually pretty clear. 7 of Wands is an interesting one to have there. So 10 of Wands. Letting go of burden, letting go of anxiety, letting go of stress, all right? So yeah, something definitely is asking you to surrender. Give it to Source, give it to God, give it to Jesus, give it to Buddha, Muhammad, Brahma, whatever you believe in as your higher deity, of your higher self, spirit guides, angels. Give whatever problem it is that you might be wrestling with at bedtime or spiritually, give it to them, and then you will be able to rest, and you should be able to get rid of this burden or drop this thing that might be burdening you. Okay, Source energy, let's see what's happening. Page of Wands. Now we've got another Page of Wands. Another page. We got Page of Swords and we got Page of Wands. So here we got a little bit of rumor mill, tough time trusting, somebody that kind of blabs all about other people's business. And now we have Page of Wands, which is the messenger of passion, the messenger of the intangible things, the unseen. Where do we go next? Where do we direct our passions? The Page of Wands is somebody that is coping to understand what is truly important to them, what they really want to have in their life, and where they really should be going next, okay? The Page of Wands sometimes can be limited by being a little bit flighty, being even more so than the Page of Swords sometimes. The Page of Wands, if they get an idea, sometimes they don't think things through before they go out and act them out. Whereas the Page of Swords is like willing to like laugh at others, like learn from others' mistakes while not taking risks of their own. Page of Wands is really the opposite in being like, I'll go and jump off a cliff if that's what it takes to find out what it feels like to hit the bottom, right? That kind of energy. So if we're looking at balancing these things out, which we kind of were through these lower cards, Scorpio, it comes back to this plot line of this timeline of being very adaptable to the energy around you. Intuitively recognize if it's a situation that calls for inaction, just to, just what's going on? Let's chill. Let's see if anybody else is going to do anything. Or if this is a situation where it's like, unless Scorpio does something, nothing else is going to happen, because who's willing to push forward in the darkness? Who's willing to surrender themselves to not knowing, to not understanding, to not being able to see the future in order to, have the strength to blast through into the next phase of their life? Well, it is Scorpio. And you'd be resounding to know the amount of people that actually look up to you without admitting it, because they see those strong, intuitive leadership qualities within you. And Page of Wands is the message that you don't always have to show that side. You don't always have to be the one taking the risks. You don't always have to be the one saying like, oh, don't do that because I once did this and it didn't work out for me. Or I took that chance and it didn't work for me, but it might work for you. You feel free to let other people make their own mistakes. That's why I'm Page of Wands. That was the message. That's why she's there in from source. Okay? In this reading anyways. So thanks, Scorpio, for your attention. You guys have had a lot better cards than a lot of the signs have had so far for May. With all these dark blue majors sitting down here at the bottom, it's like, holy bananas. It's like you guys are firing on these lower chakras. It's like kind of some unstoppable energy for the first couple weeks of May, just sort of in day-to-day life. People are going to be looking to Scorpio, but the mystery is going to remain kind of thing, because you guys are doing inner work for you and becoming even more of a mystery to others that are typically look to you to, I don't know. Sometimes people have a tough time living their own lives. Let's face it, right? Let's face it. All right. Number 3, Wizard of Awareness. Look at this dirty old hippie just chilling here with his staff and his Wicca, all of his good Wiccan goodness, pagan understandings here. He's just chilling. Look at, he's like almost like what we talked about earlier. He's like being like, oh, I'm not doing anything, because looking out at the environment around him. He's like, I don't have to do anything right now. But let's read from the book to see what the Wizard of Awareness has to say. Quote, your soul knows best. Be still and observe. End quote. Mindfulness is about being observant and remaining neutral about what goes on in the world around you. This applies to the environment within you, too. If you struggle inside yourself, stepping into an observer position gives you a new, powerful perspective that neutralizes any discomfort or overexcitement. You have the capacity to see things clearly now, unencumbered by opinion or desire. Wearing the world as a loose garment requires you to adopt a sense that nothing that happens to you is personal. People come and go. Experiences evolve from one state to another in a continual shifting and change, no matter how much you want them to stay the same. The Wizard of Awareness asks you to give up your need to define or limit what you're experiencing now. It's all good. Let it be and watch the miracle unfold without any direct influence from you. All right. And I didn't mean to call him a dirty old hippie. He might not be dirty. He might shower just as much as you and I. But the sense is he basically came in to reinforce And I'm thankful to Wizard of Awareness and to these Oracle cards, because they've given me the confidence to know that this reading was on track for many of you. And hopefully it's done the same in terms of a reconfirmation for you of just like being able to chill when the environment calls for it, being able to act when the environment calls for it. And if these people want to stumble and bumble around you, they let them try to all their own detriment, kind of thing, right? Not that we want to see anyone fail, but if they're up to no good to begin with, then that's okay to watch them stumble. All right. From me and the Wizard of Awareness, know that I love you all, and we'll see you next time, Scorpio.